What men are looking for in a woman. If you can, please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and check out my other videos. I remember growing up, probably about second grade, I remember having a girlfriend. Not even that I knew exactly what that meant, other than seeing, parents being married and older folks dating and things like that. I didn't quite know exactly what that was, but somebody I liked and we got along and it was cute and all of that. Which was obviously a very childish way to think about a dating relationship. I remember getting into high school and thinking, when I was thinking about dating girls, in the back of my head was always the question, is she going to make a good long-term partner? Is she going to make a good wife? And that was even when I was in high school, I remember doing that. And some of the girls that I dated, I had to question that. And some were good candidates, some were not. None of them worked out anyway. But it was something I always had running through my head. And when I got to college, same thing, kind of looking for who would be that woman that would be a good companion for me, a good wife overall. And I'm grateful that I got involved in a Christian group when I got to college, where there was a lot of men and women, like-minded men and women. Guys became my friends, and certainly many of the guys and women were interested in each other. And it's funny because I think about the relationships and the marriages that came out of that time frame in college, and I just think about a lot of it originated from that time frame. And so I met Karen my freshman year, and we just knew each other. We were friends. We would hang out in groups together, which is a great way to get to know somebody before you start dating. And then I got more interested in her probably into my sophomore year a little bit, but she didn't really like me. Apparently I was too goofy. I don't know where that came from, but she didn't really like me, and I was persistent. And eventually she came around. I wore her down, and she became interested in me. So then we got engaged basically right outside of college, a couple months after college, got married a year and a half after college. We started dating in our junior year. And so that all clicked, and then we moved on to all of the big decisions. So I think the question is, what attracted me to her, and what in general are men looking for in a woman? So one of the first things, just on the outset, that attracted me to her is she was pretty, she was fun, she was feminine. And then as we got to talking and as we got to know each other, I realized we aligned a lot. Our family structure was very similar. Our values were very similar, especially our faith, which is important. And just to some of the other big things we agreed on or we aligned with. And I'll go into more in another video about what made a good marriage. But just for this, we're going to just talk about kind of those qualities and those characteristics that men are looking for in women. So what are they? I think I mentioned it. The first and foremost one that I think is most important is value alignment. Now, what does that mean? Do your beliefs, do the things that you hold dear, do kind of your fundamental core values, are those things that you basically align on? Again, it doesn't have to be 100% alignment, but you basically align on those things. Your faith is a big one, what you believe, ethics, morals, those kinds of things. How much of an alignment is there with the woman that you're looking for? Number two is she mature? I think we've all been around people that are immature and that don't know what maturity is. Do they take responsibility for their actions? Do they stand up on their own? There was a girl who I knew years and years ago as an adult. She was very dependent upon her parents. You had to check with them for everything, had to follow, and couldn't really make a decision on her own. I liked her, but there was just that level of immaturity where she couldn't stand on her own 2 feet and make decisions and be able to move forward on her own. Number three, are they generous? Do they have an outward focus on other people? Again, doesn't mean you have to give all your money away or you always have to be focused on other people. But if you're always inward focused, if it's always about you and you're not generous with your time, your talents, your resources, things like that, where you're never kind of looking out for other people, that's something you got to look at. But guys are definitely looking for somebody who is a giving person, who is a generous person. Number four, most men are looking for a woman that is feminine. And again, there's obviously degrees in there about no haircuts and things like that. But we're looking for somebody who's complementary of us. If we feel like that we're masculine, we want somebody who's going to be feminine. And again, what does that mean? Well, Karen didn't wear a lot of makeup, but she wore her hair long. She always looked feminine, even if she was wearing sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt. She didn't, like I said, she didn't wear a lot of makeup. She didn't always do her hair up or anything, but she just exuded being feminine, which really countered me and what I was looking for. Number 5, is she emotionally balanced? What I mean by that is, you don't want a woman that has no sense of emotions, right? Women can tend to be more in touch with their emotions than us guys can. We don't want somebody who's a robot and has no emotions, nor do we want somebody who is going to fly off the handle at the drop of a hat. Somebody who can keep their emotions in check. Now, the reality is Karen cried more than I did. Karen was more in touch with her emotions. And I think that's why when the kids had an issue or had a problem or got hurt, the kids would go to her. She'd be more emotionally connected with them. I would just tell them to suck it up. And that, I think, is a big piece, is she there? Is she using her emotions as a weapon? That's a big piece too. Is she an emotional manipulator? Because that is never fun to be on that end. So is she emotionally balanced? Number 6, is she fun? Does she know how to have fun? Can she laugh? Does she have a sense of humor? Or does she take everything so seriously and not be able to laugh at appropriate situations, appropriate circumstances? And especially, can she laugh at herself? But can she just go out and have fun with you? Number 7's not one that we talk about a lot, but it's very important because you know the counter of it. Is she secure? You know people that are insecure, that they're always questioning, what are people thinking? How is this working? How is this going? I don't know that I did well on that. And I think one of the definitions of being secure is that she knows she's loved. Does she have a support system around her that she knows she's loved and she's not always questioning everything? We have to question things at times. We have to assess things. That's balanced and that's appropriate. But is it this overly, insecurity about everything or about certain things that just, she needs to be more secure? Number 8, I think it's very important that she has her own relationships and friendships in her life. If she's isolated and doesn't have any friendships or relationships, that can be very difficult. If she has way too many, no time for you because she's always doing things with her friends, again, it's a balance. But Karen and I each had our own sets of friends. And obviously when we were married, we overlapped with our friendships. But she had her friends, I had my friends. She would do certain things with her friends. I would do certain things with my friends. And I may have mentioned that Karen was bedridden for the last 5 years of her life because of complications with MS. She had a very dynamic social life. There was always people coming in the house. She was on the phone with people. She was emailing and texting people and just going back and forth, and people were stopping in. So she had a very good, balanced life with her friends and her relationships. And you need that. And again, finding that balance is a little tough at times. Especially when you get married, to try to figure out what that means. But it's important that there are friendships and relationships outside of your dating relationship. And also saying that, I think we have all seen those relationships where the guy and the girl start dating and they kind of disappear from their friends. That this is the most important relationship. And you got to be careful of that too. Because all of a sudden then you lose these relationships. And so you got to, again, find that balance. But does she have her own friendships and relationships? Number 9, this is one guys get a bad rap for, but I do, in talking to a number of men, including myself, this counts. So is she looking for a commitment? Short term, is she interested in dating you, just to see where this goes, to see if this is going to turn into something deeper, or is she going to flit between relationships? She'll stay in this relationship for a little while and then she'll move on to something else and move on to something else. Or is this something that she wants to pursue, date? Obviously, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but is willing to at least make a commitment for the long term, to get engaged and get married. And at least there has to be that thinking behind it, that it's not just for this short-term fun, but there is a willingness for long-term commitment. And number 10, This one I am very grateful for, and I have confirmed this with, again, a number of men, a number of married men. Karen was a low-maintenance woman, and I really appreciate that. So there are high-maintenance women, and there are low-maintenance women. There's probably everything in between. Don't beat me up. But Karen was a low-maintenance woman. She didn't wear a lot of makeup. She didn't always get dressed up. But it's not even that. She didn't put pressure on me for things like Valentine's Day or our anniversary, things like that. When we celebrated our anniversary, we celebrated it so we can celebrate it well, and so it was fun for both of us. Valentine's Day she didn't care about, which was great because there was no pressure then. But we did make sure we celebrated things and we did things that were appropriate at the appropriate times. Just we weren't always sucked into these things that we needed to do these other things. But that was Karen. She was very much low maintenance. She didn't need a lot to make her happy. And I think that might be the definition of a low maintenance woman. Doesn't need a lot, doesn't have a lot of expectations to make her happy. And I am very grateful that Karen was a low maintenance woman. So like I said, this is not a full list. You can leave your comments below and I'll address those. I think we know when we start dating, again, things take time to start working out. Things take time to kind of make sure they're working. And as you have these conversations, but in some ways, there's a fit. As you start talking to somebody or dating somebody, you get a sense if there's a fit. And you kind of know what that is. That can sound amorphous, but you're looking for that fit with that other person. And whatever that means, the value alignment and all these other things, that's what you're looking for. And I think that the last thing to say is I think it's so important that we have high standards in all of our relationships, both our friendships, certainly our dating relationships. Don't settle for less. Have your high standards, not unrealistic standards, because then you'll never have friends, you'll never meet anybody, but realistic high standards of what you expect and frankly, what you deserve in your life. And keep that standard. Don't compromise, because I find that people who compromise regret it later, that they didn't hold to their beliefs, to what they wanted, and they kind of got burned in the end. So hold on to your high standards for these relationships, and that's going to definitely have a payout in the end. So if you like what I do, if you could like, subscribe, share, and comment, and check out my other videos.